This purchase was sponsored by my Patreons. Thank you. Girls, they're here. Rejoice means to feel or express great joy or happiness. It can also mean to give joy to someone or to gladden them. Essentially, it's about feeling and showing delight or exhaustion, according to a quick Google search. Hi, my name is Anna, and this is Everything is Art. This is a seasonal challenge that my friend Shanice and Leanne and I co-host because we like to share, and because we love a prompt, and because we like to get creative, and sometimes we like to get deep in our feelings and our thoughts. And so when you mix that all together, you get Everything is Art. And this month, our prompt is rejoice. I say this month, but really it's this season. Entering in with Lilith. Look at this. I am bringing a shot of dopamine to myself on this gloomy Saturday without my children, because hashtag co-parenting is hard. So I treated myself to a bit of color. I also gave myself permission to get out of the box that I'm currently working in. And that was really exciting. So I bought these markers with this journal in mind. This is a Moleskine A5 classic plain paper. This is my summer fling for 2025. Talk about rejoice. If you are familiar with my work, with my content, then you'll know about my summer fling of a couple of years ago was in a composition notebook. And ever since then, I have loved doing this mixture of family doodles and a bit of journaling and a bit of cartooning and illustration. And this year I want to add an element of like a field guide sort of thing. I want to learn about my local fauna. I want to learn what the trees are, what the little flowers that I walk on by and see every day. I want to know them by name. I want to pay more attention to the genius loci of where I live. I had these big plans to make a big drastic move right now in July, and those plans shifted. And so all of a sudden I feel that instead of getting upset with the land for holding me here, for keeping me here, I am going to rejoice, and I am going to enjoy parenting on this land, and I'm going to get to know its history a little bit better. And I am going to be, just getting really grounded this summer with my field guide, and taking some walks and sharing some of that. This video is self-sponsored. Today's self-sponsor is Patreon, because over on Patreon, I am sharing my Genius Loci pictures, which I am then using to come back to and use in my sketchbook to find simpler ways, simpler shapes to draw what is around me. Sometimes flowers and plants and stuff can get so busy, and I want to find a nice simple way to do that. But in the meantime, I pulled out some of my Prismacolor pencils. These are the ones that I've kind of paired to my Arrtx acrylic markers. This also, they also really work well with what I have in my watercolor palette, because they're all kind of like the same color. So there is one in between yellow and green that's a little too much for me, and that one I had to just put away. Like it's just in a different place. But other than that, the colors are great. Lots of blues, lots of greens. There's just one red, but it's a really great red, so I'm not mad. And then it comes with gold and silver. And this is not the only colorway that Arrtx has. Not sponsored by Arrtx. I bought this with my own Patreon money. So thank you so much to my Patreon, because with their help, I am now... Not only did I get to do the rainbow thing during June, bringing in that color, bringing a splash of happiness of all the things, but life is hard. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm going through it right now, but also there are these great moments where I'm able to afford a set of markers that reinvigorate my creativity and give me a zest, give me the allowance to do exactly what I want to do, which was play with more color. Because in case you haven't noticed, watercolor has been absent from my daily practice. We have not fought. In fact, we are in very much good speaking terms. However, the tin is just not in the forefront of my mind. I'm just not needing to watercolor every single day. I'm getting better at morning pages, though. That's become a habit, so a little bit of a trade-off there. Whoosh. But that did not diminish the fact that I still wanted to play with color and to play with a different medium. I have been fangirling over Posca markers and over, which are acrylic, and over alcohol markers and over Copic markers, and none of these trends I was able to jump on, mostly because of the cost and because I found watercolor and I was so into watercolor, so there was just no time for that right now. But this time around, when I started seeing something other than a marker that needed to be shaken, you know what I mean? I have a couple of Poscas that never worked out for me, like all that shaking and then the pooling and then the skipping. It was just not a pleasant experience. So I'm glad that I never went all in. However, these markers are a pleasure. They are saturated. The color is opaque. Granted, this is not like the best paper for, that, but this was a swatch that I needed. I mean, I need to know what colors I'm working with, and to know also if they were going to work well with the chosen journal, because if they're not going to work in the journal that I've already chosen, then we need to make moves and we need to figure things out. But luckily we did awesome. This paper crinkles when it gets any kind of moisture, and since these are markers, there is a slight crinkle that happens. However, it's fine with me. And also on the back page, I'm skipping ahead, there's no bleed through, and I go hard because first of all, I'm heavy-handed, but second of all, I'm trying to make sure that how I usually do things is going to work out, because there's no point in like doing it gently and then it turns out that I leave a roadmap. So anywho, it works well. I'm happy. Happy with the colors, happy with the colorway I chose. There's like a pastel one and an anime one, and then there's like the the big Mamba Jumbo, which is, oh, there's also a metallic one. And then there's the big, like, 96 color pack, which is amazing. Would be a dream come true. But also been there, done that, where I've purchased all the colors. I did that with the Prism color pencils, and I don't regret it, because out of the entire pack, I think there's only like 2 or 3 colors that I decided that I didn't need nor want or whatever. But on the con side, it took me so long to finally start using them because I felt so precious about them. So yeah, there's that. Look at all the blues. The blues are great. Maybe we can talk about why I chose the moleskin. Well, I have worked in a B5 moleskin last summer, and that was a fun experience. However, it was a short-lived experience because since the first time around I didn't know the paper. No, that's BS. I got really precious about the artwork that I started doing in the journal, and then it took on a certain theme, which was kind of like that spooky season, and I started getting precious, and then I didn't know how to share the journal with other stuff, and then when I figured it out, then the journal felt too big for some reason. I get in my feelings. I did not promise that I could reason it so logically. I just said I could explain it. So in the meantime, I had been missing the crinkle, and I like the crinkle, but I also knew that I didn't want a B5. I didn't want to commit to such a big size this time around. And I also wanted to go outside of my comfort zone, which is the stology, and I wanted to do something plain. I didn't want all the grid or dots. I wanted to try my best with blank pages, because it's really about filling in all, just letting it happen. Filling up the pages, yes, but also doodling and just, using it as an everything omni journal for the summer. There are just very specific topics that I know that I want to cover, and those include, the history of where we are, my town, my county, everything herbology, everything fauna related. I want to throw a little magic in there and study, or not study, but have some fairy studies, have some herb studies, have some flower studies. Also simplify how I do all that. Not necessarily to draw it like a child, but to draw it in simple shapes, which has been in the background of what I've been trying to do for a couple of years now, that I'm now just being able to put into words. But anyhow, I hope that you enjoyed this swatch. I hope that you take a chance on something new. I also hope that you find a way to bring more color and excitement. Find something to rejoice about if you don't have something already. Times are hard and weird, but yay! For me, all it took was these silly markers to fill me with hope and excitement for what's to come. And yeah, what's to come is a little sneak peek of what I've been up to in my journal pages, which then became something shareable over in my Patreon and also in my shop. And you can find my shop at FromAnna.com. That is www.fromana.com. And that's just to remind you that I do all the things, because sometimes people don't know, or people forget, or I do so many different kinds of content that I forget to marry all of the things. But everything can be found at FromAnna.com. All my links, all my merch. It's kind of like my business card, so to speak. So there it is. My Genius Loci for 2025. Summer fling. I'm about to have me a blast. Woohoo. Here's what I mean about wanting to play with more color. So I recently pulled this little sketchbook back out from my cart, and it's kind of like my couch sketchbook. And I had been playing with my rainbow pencil, my color pencils, and then when I got the markers, we got busy. I did these pretty much all in one sitting. No, I'm kidding. I did maybe 2 pages at a time, 3 pages at a time. This is from my neighbor's garden. This is some of my local fauna. And this is when I decided I needed to move into the Genius Loci, because I had found my pairing. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you guys soon. Bye.